Hi everybody, this is a black and red Arcane Bombardment deck that wants to reuse all of our instants and sorceries. As usual, we've got Arcane Bombardment up on the top end, and we've got a bunch of spells that help us control the board on the early game. You can see here in the 1, 2, and 3 slots, we've got Play with Fire, Lightning Strike, Sheoldred's Edict, and Go for the Throat. Pretty standard removal, but this is Eldraine standard now, so we're throwing in some of the new cards that I'm really pleased to see, really interested in trying in a bombardment deck. So adventures are making a return. Here's Decadent Dragon. It's got an adventure spell attached to it called Expensive Tastes, and it basically provides another card draw vehicle for our deck that is sometimes a spell and sometimes a creature. If you've watched some of my older videos, you know we always try to throw in a few permanents, but it's always a tricky balance because too many permanents and then Arcane Bombardment doesn't do anything. And if you've got all spells, well, what's the fun in that? You got an opponent that can sometimes shut you down if your strategy is too focused on just that. So it's always nice to have a nice diversity of threats going so that by the time you get your Arcane Bombardment down, your opponent might be out of removal, might be out of counter spells, that kind of thing. So these adventure permanents fill a really great role in Arcane Bombardment, and then we can use their spell side to trigger it, and we get a nice permanent on the other side. So besides the Decadent Dragon, I'm trying out 3 copies of Charming Scoundrel. It's not an adventure, but it does a little ramp with treasure tokens, lets us draw, and is another little quick threat for us to play early in the game. Another card I'm interested in trying out is The End. We get to exile a creature or planeswalker and then pluck all the other copies out of our opponent's deck and hand. I figured this one would be particularly demoralizing to get under bombardment, so we're throwing that in here. And then we've got Virtue of Persistence, one of the new mythic enchantments. There's a whole virtue cycle for each color. It's got a nice sorcery on one side so that we can activate bombardment. And then we get a nice expensive enchantment to help reanimate some creatures, possibly our own dragons, or possibly some of the good things that our opponent has been throwing at us all game. So yeah, let's get over and see a few games with this deck over on the ranked standard ladder and see if we can't steal a few cards along the way. All right. Well, a little bit of an expensive start here for at least my first day with Eldraine. Using Xander's Lounge in here because Decadent Dragon makes you pay the original mana costs for the cards that you steal. Luckily, it does produce treasures if it survives, but we've also got Big Score to help us cast things. Charming Scoundrel. Yeah, I've been wanting to try this card out too. I'm not sure it's the right home for this card in this deck, but it at least gets us some treasure going, so let's do that. Can filter a card later on. 2 hasty damage as well. Opponent looks to be taking a look at it as well. So the other thing that got my noodle working about Decadent Dragon is you kind of need a 3-drop card draw spell, if that makes any sense. We're going to go Charming Scoundrel number 2 here. But usually bombardment decks need something to do on 3 in case your opponent's not doing much. And Decadent Dragon certainly fits that bill because we can at least play the lands that we get off of our opponent's deck. All right, a second treasure. Let's go attacking with a couple of hasty scoundrels. No response from the opponent just yet. Let's end it right there. With this untapped land, we've got enough to go for a bombardment on our next turn. Opponent not showing too many signs that they're an aggressive deck. Although this changes things. Spirit of the Blessed comes down. And they've got enough mana for Faithful Mending, the 2-mana card draw, gain some life spell. Well, let's go for Arcane Bombardment. That's also counter mana that they've got. So if they've got it, then good for you. We've got a backup copy at least. Oh, they do have it. Sometimes you just got to go for it. So we get Spell Pierced there. All right, so what is this deck then? I thought it was blue-white control. All right, does nothing. All right, well, tell you what, we need a little more time to get up to bombardment number 2. let's pass it on back. If our opponent doesn't do anything here, we may just fire off a Decadent Dragon. Okay, still not much. Let's go for Expensive Taste and see what else our opponent has going on over there. Opponent thinking about countering it maybe. We've got 2 mana up this time. Oh, interesting. Okay, so Spectral Adversary and Lunarch Veteran. Let's flash in this Adversary. This, I bet you this is a attempt at a Spirits deck. I didn't look that closely for Spirits in the Eldraine spoiler. I know Fairies is definitely a thing that I'll probably try eventually. Let's go attacking with our Stolen Spirit. Hit our opponent for 2. And let's try to cast a dragon. We're in no rush. I kind of want to hang on to this bombardment and kind of see what else they do. All right, Fateful Absence from our opponent destroys our dragon, gives us the clue token. We can pay 2 to draw with that, or to cast this Sheoldred's Edict. Okay, Patrician Geist. So this must be a Spirits deck. Probably some cards with Disturb coming out of the grave, perhaps. No real reason to block, but let's go ahead and get this Edict down. Ooh, and they use the rebuff for it. Well, sure. Well, no blocks at all. Well, successfully baiting the counter out of our opponent's hand. We're able to land Bombardment. We're just going to hang back on blocks. No white mana for this Lunarch Veteran of our own. Might have to think some more on this mana base, just so we can reliably cast our opponent's stolen stuff. Let's see. Yep, spirits you cast from the grave are cheaper. Let's triple block here. If they've got the life gain, no they don't. Well, Scoundrels are gonna perish because the Spectral Adversary that was helping them out is no more. But Bombardment is up and online. Let's get things started. Let's try for a Lightning Strike on the Voice of the Blessed. Okay, opponent's got another Urza's Rebuff. Counters the Lightning Strike, but we get a Sheoldred's Edict out of the grave. Let's make them sacrifice something. Good. And let's pass it on back. Mana available, Decadent Dragon's Expensive Taste spell is an instant, which I love in here. Opponent attacks us for 2. We're going to have even more Expensive Taste now. What else are we going to grab? Bombardment ready to pull something up here, and opponent has seen enough. Good game. All right. Back for another one. Kind of a weird hand. Ah, there we go. There's a Virtue. Never got the chance to play old Eldraine adventures with Bombardment, but really interested to see how this is going to fit into this kind of deck going forward, because it really gives us more options. Let's go Scoundrel here on turn 2. We're going to make a treasure, and I guess we might as well attack. Opponent blocks. Sure. Suppose they could get that back with a Restoration of Iganjo. Nope, Tocasia's welcome. So they're going to be drawing some cards. Tell you what, we've got 4 mana thanks to this treasure. Let's just slam down a Sheoldred. I mean, you can sometimes just sneak into a win that way if your opponent can't answer it. Opponent with a Spirited Companion. Yeah, might want to read the fine print there. It takes a little bit of damage thanks to the extra draws and Sheoldred's ability. Spirited Companion. That's 2 life apiece. We gain a little bit thanks to Sheoldred, but no lands. Okay, deck. Well, maybe Maybe we used that treasure up a little too soon. Well, opponent down to 12. We might be able to get a little cheeky and remove a crucial blocker. Nope. Nope. Opponent's got to lay down arms. Going to exile Sheoldred. Another Spirited Companion. All right, so that's a draw 2. All right, so feels a little mono-white control-ish. Thank goodness for land number 4. We're going to pass it back, get ready to big score, and keep ramping up. Got Bombardment in hand, plus Virtue of Persistence. Although our opponent, not with that many great creatures for us to steal and reanimate, and opponent's kind of been exiling our best stuff so far. Another farmhand. Goes to get another Urza's Saga-era Plains. And attacks in for 2. We're down to 22. Yeah, let's go for the big score. Let's ditch a go for the throat. Oh, there's the lands. Beautiful. Very good. Xander's Lounge the draw. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go land. White has all kinds of ways to get rid of bombardment. I need to see a little more before I commit this without being able to use bombardment right away. So we're 1 mana shy of that. Take another 4 here from all these tiny creatures. Drop to 18. We're going to draw with this lounge. We get another lightning strike. All right, let's get those going. And our turn. Okay. Land. Yeah, with that wedding announcement, we'll be fine. Let's go for bombardment, and we will pass it on back. Can save a burn down the house maybe for our next turn if this survives. But even if they've got a targeted removal spell, I might just fire something off. Try to pick up big score. Opponent's got the Eternal Wanderer, but that doesn't affect enchantments. They could blink their own stuff. No, they're just going to make a double strikey samurai. Gets the draw off of Takacia's Welcome. And is looking to attack us for 4. They're out of mana. Let's zap the Eternal Wanderer with a lightning strike. Just see what we can pull up here. It's a go for the throat, so let's destroy one of the attacking creatures. Save on every little bit of damage. All right. Wedding announcement triggers. They get the card draw, but they've got too many cards. Discards a land. We're going to drop a land ourselves. Go burn down the house on 5. Pick up a big score to go with our go for the throat. Yeah, we're going to do that. Discard, go for the throat. Pick up a few lands off the top. We're going to keep Lightning Strike as our spell for our opponent's turn, since you can shoot that one pretty much at any time, at any target. Archangel Elspeth. So this is a very interesting mono-white, like tokeny, control-y build here. As the Wandering Emperor comes down to join the party. Yeah, these token generating planeswalkers drawing cards off the Welcome. Eventually going to get buffed by the wedding announcement. I see what you're doing. Okay, well, I want a lightning strike. The question is, what target? I think Wandering Emperor is kind of the most annoying one for me. We've got go for the throat. Let's take care of one token and then the other. And we can big score away a swamp. We get a Scoundrel and another big score. All right, Wandering Emperor down. Wedding announcement flips over, gives them a token. There's a good draw. Decadent Dragon off the top. Well, we've got lots of mana. Let's go ahead and see what we can steal. Bombardment picks up a lightning strike. We're going to use that to zap Elsbeth a little bit. Keep that under control. We'll go for the Throat the token. And we'll big score away Scoundrel. Yep, no other targets for that extra go for the Throat. Burn down the house the draw. And what else we got? We get 2 lands off the top. Well, that is unfortunate. Let's just play our dragon as a dragon. Pass it on back here. So opponent still has a ton of cards. We are definitely vulnerable to enchantment removal. Our dragon got exiled with another lay down arms. And Elsbeth's still able to generate cards and tokens with her ability. Another Wandering Emperor. Okay. Yep, able to fill the board back up pretty easily with tokens. There's a Restoration. Surprised we hadn't seen that earlier. Alright, well, let's big score. We know we're activating Bombardment. We'll discard Haunted Ridge. And, ooh, 2 Lightning Strikes. Well, tell you what. I mean, yeah. Maybe we should have been doing this all along. We're going to do double Lightning Strike at our opponent, and that should have 6 damage for us on our next turn as well. Yeah, that should work. Opponent's been drawing crazy amounts of cards. But, yeah, in the end, we're able to pick up enough Lightning Strikes to hopefully get the job done, and opponent sees it too. Good game. All right. A 2-lander. It's kind of pricey. We can keep this one, I guess. At least we've got things to do, and we've got a Charming Scoundrel to hopefully dig us out of this land hole that I know Arena's going to put us in. Going to drop the End back into the deck there. Start off with a Lounge. Always a good sign. Arena been giving me weird hands today, I'll tell you that. We're going to start off with Scoundrel on 2. Make a treasure. This card has a very, very specific job in my deck. First few turns, we're making treasures. Late game, it gets discarded to big score or helps us filter extra lands. Kind of like a Thrill of Possibility with a body. Sort of. Opponent's got a Phyrexian Arena. Okay. Drawing all the things, but... Ooh, a second Arena. Okay. Well, let's big score. Use our treasure from the Scoundrel. Discard this Springs. No lands. Alright, give me... All we needed was 1 land off the top there, deck. 1 land off the top. So opponent's going to draw 2. Suppose we could have used Decadent Dragon there, or Big Score, I guess. Try to draw some extra lands. Instead of doing it on our opponent's turn. Opponent's got a Teferi for us. That is going to get a load of counters, thanks to these Phyrexian Arenas. And they just passed. Ooh, ouch. They must have hit the button there. All right, let's go for big score then while they're tapped out. There's the untapped land. Let's slam the big score. Or sorry, slam the Arcane Bombardment. We already did the big score. All right, well, Teferi's going to get big. We've got a Sheoldred's Edict in hand. They draw with Teferi, so they're not interested in the tokens. They are guessing we've got a lot of removal in hand, which is not a bad guess given these colors. And then an Obliterator. So definitely a blue-black control deck here. Haunted Ridge off the top. What do we do? All right, well, I think it's time. Let's go Sheoldred's Edict. Make them sacrifice Teferi before it can get too dangerous. Looks like we pick up a free big score. Nothing but lands off the top, unfortunately, but we do have a couple of instants in hand ready for our opponent's turn, and we're still at 20. We can afford to take a hit or two off of this Obliterator. Opponent's going to need a little life gain before these arenas do them in. Okay, there's some. Got the Circuit Mender. And the third arena. Opponent really going for it here. You got to respect that. Attacking us with the Obliterator. We're going down to 15. Let's do Expensive Taste. Trigger Bombardment. Double big score, the pickup now. I think we can afford to filter through both of these lands then. We get an Edict. Another Bombardment. Dragon finds us a land and a Circuit Mender. And we've got tons of treasures, I will say that. All right, so yeah, I think what we're going to do here. Let's see. We've got okay, well, that's a guaranteed Edict pickup out of the graveyard for Bombardment. It's our only spell in the grave. So let's do an Edict here. We are guaranteed the one from the grave. There's that one. So that's going to take care of those two creatures. We can do a big score. And we'll just stick with the one. A few more lands for us. So that's going to make our opponents sack both of these. They get the draw off of the Mender. Opponent drawn loads of cards. I'm not sure there is a draw your deck win condition in this standard. Let's put out our dragon. Keep the pressure up. And speaking of pressure, I think Scoundrel, now's your chance to do a different job. Let's do a Wicked Roll token on you. Let us immediately attack for 2. And let's pass it on back. Really enjoying the Decadent Dragon having an instant attached to it. Just really, really liking that. I got a feeling I'm going to be playing that one a lot. Not to mention it's also one of my favorite mechanics in Magic, stealing my opponent's stuff to play. All right, well, I think the opponent's got options. Yep, go for the throat. Gigantic hand over there. And Sheoldred coming down, looking to gain some of that life back. Well, we do have Edict under Bombardment. Opponent's going to make our Scoundrel a tribute to Urborg. The Wicked Roll token does 1 damage to our opponent. So let's activate Bombardment here with Expensive Taste. All right, well, I think if we stack it like this... Oh, all right, opponent's seen enough. Good game. Now, come on, Arena. The 3-of-a-kind Bombardment. All right, this is better. We can keep this. Finally, a normal 3-lander. We're gonna put back the Virtue. See if we can't find that later on. Been adjusting the land counts in here. I think we're up to 27 finally, and a 3rd copy of the End. I'm not sure that's the right number, but I haven't been seeing it, so I wanted to increase those odds. Okay. Ooh, interesting. Opponent is on black and white, and they've got a Union on turn 3. So I think we are in for the control matchup. Land number 4, this is usually Wanderer time. Nope, Sorin instead. Okay. And they go for the card draw. Well, at 26, they decide against it. Let's cycle this Proving Ground. We get another Edict and a land off the top. All right, well, I've been wanting to try this. Let's cast The End on Sorin. So that gets exiled. We're going to take a look at that hand. Oh, very control-y. All right, only one more copy in the deck. Oh, look at this. Oh, this is control heavy. All right, so it looks like that was the only Sorin. And Farewell in hand, too. This is going to be a tough one. But we've managed to take care of 2 of their win conditions, I guess you could say. Opponent goes for the main phase Wandering Emperor. Gonna make a token? Yes, they do, and passes it on back. All right, we've got land number 5. Tell you what, let's just do Sheoldred's Edict for now. Make them sacrifice that Planeswalker, and then I think what we're gonna do is one of these Decadent Dragons. Hopefully pull an untapped land off the top of their deck, or ours, and try to get Bombardment down. We need to kind of outrace this Farewell that they've got coming. So we know they're short on lands. We gotta hurry this up. All right, we get the Rafine's Tower. And... all right, let's play a dragon. So there is a one of Gix's command in here, so I don't know, the dream is to keep recycling that card and exiling more cards off the top of our opponent's deck. Nice to have at least one of those in there. Opponent's got the Drown for the dragon. Wow, so we got to work our way through a Depopulate, the Eternal Wanderer, and a Farewell in hand, plus a couple of mystery cards. They need 2 more lands to cast the Farewell, though, so let's go for Bombardment right now. Try to get as much value out of it as we can. Oh, there's a Union. Okay. Well, they found 1 land. They just need 1 more. Attacks with the Samurai gets us to 14. All right, only 2 spells in our graveyard. Gix's command here, though. We could get a dragon back. Oh, this is a tough spot. I'm just going to pass it back. Kind of react to what our opponent does. I'm guessing they Farewell right now. And so if they do that, I want to kind of hold on to this command. They don't. Eternal Wanderer coming down.
I've made it just in time.
All right, so they're trying to build up a little board presence. Well, let's use our expensive taste. Oh, we pick up the end straight away. Let's target the Wanderer then. Oh no, opponent's got 2 Farewells in hand. Let's pluck out this Wanderer from the deck. Nothing else in the grave. And we get Vraska and Drown in Ichor off the top. All right, so I think we might be able to get a lot of these Planeswalkers out of the deck. And we're trying, well, we're kind of forcing our opponent into a place where they have to use a Farewell. And so if we kind of know that's coming, maybe we Gix's command here, clear the board, and pick our dragon back up. And in the meantime, we get a couple of spells. All right, this will exile something, but I'm not sure that matters. We're Gix's commanding anyway. And it's not like we can search the opponent's deck for more copies of this token. But command happens anyway. Let's get our dragon back and pass it on over. All right. Is it Farewell time? It is. Opponent hits all the buttons, everything getting exiled, including our graveyard. We pick up a land off the top. Well, you know who doesn't get hit by Farewell? The Planeswalkers. Let's use our Stolen Planeswalker to draw a card.
The downtrodden rise together.
Could be an alternate path to victory here if we can get Vraska up high enough. Since at least of the cards we can see in that hand, they can't touch her. Opponent with the White Sun's Twilight makes a bunch of mites. Alright, the end. Let's see. That exiles just one thing. It's not in, what is it, the Echoing spell from the past. Alright, let's do a little draw then. Okay, we'll proliferate Vraska. Play the Swamp. Alright, I think we got to do it. Let's go burn down the house. Get rid of these mites. It sets Vraska back, but it keeps us super safe. And lets our card draw engine stay in play. And we'll play out this dragon just to force out some action. Opponent with a Lily. I must have missed that in my quick perusal of the opponent's deck. Sunset Revelry gives them a few tokens to pressure our Vraska, and they're going to make us sacrifice the dragon. Opponent being really disciplined or stingy with that farewell. As soon as that one gets fired off, I think we're safe to play this bombardment. I guess if we draw into another bombardment, I might just throw it out there and sacrifice it. But let's get a draw with Vraska first before we make any decisions. All right. Well, we drew an end. Let's remove Liliana from this equation.
I knew this was a waste of time.
Yep, only one more. Let's see. So opponent's got just a couple of Planeswalkers left in the deck. A pair of Kayas, it looks like. And I know we can take care of those with a Sheoldred's Edict pretty well. So let's drown one of these tokens. That'll give Vraska a free counter. And we can keep this cut down in reserve in case they want to go attacking her. Alright, opponent cycling a land. Might be looking for a way to address this Planeswalker. Really nice of them to lend that to me and get around all of their heinous removal spells. Going to combat now. Alright, they do decide to attack Vraska. So let's cut that down. Wow. Well, opponent's taking a good think. Here are all the cards we've removed from our opponent's deck. That is most of their win conditions, I would say. So, yeah, I count me a fan of the end, but don't think our opponent expected that when they came on the ladder. Good game.